Hello, in this spreadsheet I'm going to show you how you can have a value in a cell appear in a drop-down list. So for example, in this spreadsheet where I have student grades, I can also include their effort, so I can select the student's achievement simply using a drop-down list like this. In this spreadsheet I have a number of students with their grades, their marks rather, their average mark and their grades, and what I'd like to do here is to include the student's effort. Now this isn't something which is going to be calculated, I'm wanting to write this in. So I might be wanting to write in excellent, good, fair, average, unacceptable or whatever. Rather than having to write that in every time and of course risk typing it incorrectly, I'd like to have a drop-down list of the options available to me so that I can select whichever option I like, and it's always going to be one of those 5 or 6 different options which is allowable. How do I do that? Well, first of all, we need to create a list of the options. We can do that anywhere on this spreadsheet, but I like to add my lists to a second sheet that is specifically for that purpose. So at the bottom here where I have my sheet tabs, I'm going to add another tab and I'm going to rename that lists, and then at the top of this I'm going to write out my list of options. So I'm going to have excellent, good, fair, poor and unacceptable. So those are the different options that I want to have available, and I want that list to appear as a drop-down list in each of these cells. So what we need to do, now we've created the list, that's it, don't have to do anything else on that sheet, is select the cells where we want that drop-down list to appear. So that's all of these. So I'm selecting all of those cells. The next thing we have to do is to head up to the top and click on Data. So we're bringing up the Data toolbar along the ribbon at the top. Once we've selected Data, find Data Validation and then click on the little drop down arrow so we have a menu. So within the Data Validation drop down menu we are clicking again on Data Validation. Data validation simply means what data is allowed in this cell, and we can see at the moment any value is allowed. It means we can type anything we like into this cell. We're going to change that, and if we click on this drop down list here, we can see that there are a number of different ways in which you can restrict what people enter in any cell. So you could force people to only enter whole numbers or dates, or a maximum number of characters, text length. For this though, we're going to choose list. So we select list, and then where it says source, in other words, where is this list that you want, simply click on this little button at the right hand end of this, and then we can select our list. Don't worry about typing in anything here. All you need to do is click on this little button and then find your list. So that's on this sheet and it's over here, so I'm going to highlight those cells, that's it, and then click on this little button at the right hand side again to go back to this screen. You could type this in, it would work just as well, but it's easier to click on this little button and then select the ones you want, click on the button again and go back to here. Let me just delete that so I don't end up with that list appearing twice. So there we are. So we're allowing a list. There is our list. These two options will be ticked by default, and I wouldn't really worry about changing them. Certainly the in cell drop down you don't want to change because that's what will generate the drop down list. So once you've done that, simply click OK. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Nothing appears different except when we click on one of these cells. The moment we do click on a cell, a little arrow, little drop down arrow appears next to it. That'll happen for any of these cells. And if we click on that arrow, there's our list. We can now choose the option that we want, and we can do that for all of these students, choosing just those options. What would happen if we typed in here? Well, if we just typed in something that's completely off our list, doesn't exist on that list at all, and we try to press enter, it tells us the value you entered is not valid. So we can't do that. We could type one of the words that's on our list and press enter. It will allow that, because that word, exactly as I have written it there, does appear on that list I wrote. But the simplest and quickest way for me to do this is to click on that drop-down list and choose the option. It saves time, it improves accuracy, and if you're creating a spreadsheet for somebody else to use, it's very good practice, because it means that they are going to be able to use your spreadsheet without having to worry about typing or getting things in the wrong place or typing the wrong thing.